Alright, believe me, that thumbnail is less of a joke and more of a warning to all of you guys out there like me who are prone to motion sickness. Go into this movie cautiously. Thank you all for joining me for another movie review where today we are talking about Michael Bay's newest film, Ambulance. So with the Ambulance, you got these two brothers, they're pulling off a bank heist, and when the bank heist goes wrong and all the cops start showing up, they hijack an ambulance with a paramedic working on a patient in the back as they proceed to take the cops on a big high-speed chase down the streets of LA. Alright, so I had some of you guys comment and you really wanted me to review this movie, and I was looking forward to seeing this movie, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the biggest Michael Bay fan, but I will admit that when it comes to Michael Bay films, his action is where he shines. And with that knowledge in mind, I went into Ambulance knowing it was just a high-speed chase for a good 2 hours, pretty optimistic about the mayhem that would ensue on the screen before me. And then I saw this movie. Yeah, I ended up being pretty disappointed with this movie, and it's not that Ambulance doesn't have good things going for it. It's not like it's a total crap fest the entire time, in my opinion. But where this movie really irritated me, annoyed me, and really got on my nerves is with the way that Michael Bay decided to go about with the filmmaking in this movie. I hated the way that this film was directed. Now, I'm not crapping on Michael Bay as a director. I do think Michael Bay is a good director. I wouldn't say that he's a bad director. But the choices that he made with the movie, especially with how he decided to film it, to edit it, just really bugged me. For starters, I swear, for 95% of this movie, Michael Bay just cannot keep the camera still. It feels like they strapped the camera to a drunk guy's chest, yelled action, and the drunk guy was just wandering around going, hey, I want to shoot over here, shoot over there, look at those guys. For almost this entire 2 hours, the camera was just going around, jerking around, it didn't have any focus, it felt like it wasn't able to focus on one singular thing throughout the entire movie. And on top of that, Michael Bay edits this film where he doesn't let one single shot play out for more than 5 to 8 seconds before he'll cut to the next shot. And when it came down to the big police chase in the streets of LA, that became a big problem for me because it was just cutting back and forth between the ambulance and the police cars. So it just kept switching back and forth from the police siren lights to the ambulance lights, just these lights flashing in my face. I swear I almost got a migraine in this movie. Mixed in with all that, Michael Bay has these drone shots, and this drone is just flying around all throughout the movie. And these shots, some of these drone shots I thought were actually really cool, but it felt like Michael Bay never let the drone shots breathe out. We'd go from chasing ambulance, cutting back and forth, the camera shaking all around, and then we'd go to this drone and it'd be flying in the air, and we'd go back to cutting lights and cutting, and just the way that it affected my brain. Again, as someone who's prone to motion sickness, I honestly had to look away from the screen a number of times in this film. And it's really a shame that the movie affected me in this way because there are some decent things going on within the movie. I thought that the stuff going on in the ambulance between these two brothers played by Jake Gyllenhaal and Yaha Mateen II, along with the paramedic in the back of the ambulance played by Isaac Gonzalez, I thought they had a pretty good dynamic going on, pretty good chemistry. I really enjoyed the way that Isaac Gonzalez played this paramedic. She was awesome, the way that she stood up to these two bank robbers. And Yaha Mateen II, he was also really good as the straight man to Jake Gyllenhaal's character. He was more the brother that grounded us in this kind of reality. He kind of brought the heart into this story because the whole reason that he's involved in this bank heist in the first place, you really do feel for the guy. But when it comes to Jake Gyllenhaal, man, Jake Gyllenhaal was my saving grace for this movie. Jake Gyllenhaal is having a ball in this movie because he is just completely unhinged. He plays this character like he plays Mysterio in Far From Home, dialed up to 11. You just feel at any moment Jake Gyllenhaal's character could just snap and just kill everybody in the ambulance, even his own brother. He just plays the character that manic, that psychotic, that unhinged. And when you get these three characters trapped in this ambulance together during this big high-speed police chase, there's actually some really great tension that they create in this ambulance atmosphere between these characters. One scene in particular, I won't go too deep into details, but it involves a surgery. I was white-knuckling the seat the entire time. It was intense. And that's what makes Ambulance so frustrating for me, is because Michael Bay did have some really good stuff in this movie. Just the way he went about with the filmmaking and editing and just the creative choices just really got on my nerves. Even the police chase with the ambulance itself, there's some really good practical effects going on here. You got real police cars flipping, crashing, exploding, really exciting stuff. But the chase just got so stale for me, the way that it was edited. There's really just a lot of shots of the ambulance swerving around a corner followed by the police, and then we go back inside the ambulance cab with our characters. I just didn't find that there was enough going on with this chase that was visually interesting to me. The humor and the dialogue in this movie also, I felt was just abysmal at times. Like, a lot of the time, it was abysmal. And I don't necessarily want to crap on the writing or the way that Michael Bay directs these scenes, but I just didn't find the way that it was done to be effective in the way that they wanted it to be effective. There's just a lot of awkward moments and awkward lines and delivery given. Like, here's an example. During the high-speed chase, one of the FBI agents that are after the ambulance says that we're gonna get these guys and we're gonna cuff them. And this other lady in the FBI's car goes, but like with the metal cuffs, right? Not those fluffy ones that you use on the bed. Yeah, it's jokes like that throughout the entire movie. And if you find it funny, that's all subjective. I just didn't. Real quick, before I go on and give my recommendation for Ambulance, if you like talking all things movies, TV, and all things entertainment, why don't you go on and click that subscribe button, click that like button, click that notification bell, all that YouTube stuff. And leading up to Top Gun Maverick, Cassidy and I are going to be doing a movie commentary to the original Top Gun, coming out in May, so keep your eyes open on the channel for that. And without further ado, let's end this review. So in the end, Ambulance had some things going for it. Jake Gyllenhaal, I felt, carried this movie on his back a lot of the times. But it was just ruined for me for the way that Michael Bay went about with the filmmaking, the editing, the creative process. It just wasn't interesting enough. It gave me a headache. It gave me motion sickness. And overall, the movie just came across as a movie you'd find in the DVD bin at Walmart. You look at it for a few seconds, you think it looks kind of interesting, but you throw it back because in the end, it's disposable. So unfortunately, and I know there are some of you out there who really wanted me to review this movie, it gives me no pleasure in saying this, but Ambulance is not a recommend from me. But anyway, guys, I appear to be going against the grain on this one. A lot of people really like this movie. Are you one of them? What did you think of Michael Bay's Ambulance? Comment down below, let me know. I want to know all your thoughts and opinions about this movie. As always, you guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video and checking out my channel, and I hope to talk to you guys again real soon.